Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Previously, I did a video on my first Rock River arms that I really ever worked with, and that was their LAR 47 7.62x39, which was a rifle that I really liked. In fact, I bought that rifle because it worked beautifully. It took the AK magazine, it took all the steel magazines. So I'm interested in taking a look at more of the Rock River arms lineup. The rifle we have here is called the LAR 15 Elite Comp. Now, Rock River, well, probably, if you were to compare them to anybody else in this industry, they probably offer a largest catalog of variations. And I do also believe that they will custom make them for you as well. I chose this particular one because of, when I do these videos, I like to show components of a manufacturer, as many components as I can have them put on one single rifle to go over. And the other thing that's sort of nice about this particular system as well is every part that you see on this rifle, you have the ability to buy as an upgrade to your own rifle. All the parts that you see on here, they sell. The barrels, the handguards, the front sight bases, the stocks, the safeties, which are also pretty unique. We're going to talk a little bit about. So I did the second Rock River arms that I ordered was the LAR 15, and have to say, it was not to disappoint. I was extremely happy with the quality. Again, Rock River Arms is a company I was really new to, because I dealt a lot more with military type weapons myself, not so much the commercial ends for in my career. Doing this YouTube channel is giving me the opportunity to take a look at a lot of stuff I normally never would have, just because of the fact, again, I'm used to dealing with the Colts, the LMTs, the military grade stuff that I would see overseas. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to take a look at these, and we're going to talk a little bit about this one from the butt to the muzzle and talk about some of the really unique features that this rifle has. And we're just going to jump right into this one. I'm sort of going to cheat with my iPad on this one, just because of the fact that there are so many components on here with so many different names that I don't want to screw them up and get them mixed up, so you guys are looking for the wrong things if you're interested in buying some of this stuff. So please forgive me. I don't have this one memorized. Again, just too many components, because pretty much everything you see on here is Rock River Arms specific. They made pretty much everything, or designed pretty much everything that you see on this rifle. Starting at the rear, you have the operator stock. This is a extremely well-made stock. It sort of got the profile of the SOT mod stock, which I'm really fond of, for as far as the triangular shape. You also notice you got two QD points on there, both left and right. This is a 6-position stock. We do have a standard receiver extension on here. Looking at the receiver extension nut, it's not staked in place. As far as the backup sight, the 40L, this is the sight that came with the rifle, which I was very excited to see. These are not inexpensive sights. These are actually the ones that I prefer. Most of my rifles have these on them themselves. They are metal. They have dual apertures, both long range and short range, by pulling the leaf down. You also have a knob on the left hand side, so you can adjust by hand. This also was a sight that was approved for use by SOCOM, so it's an excellent sight. Now, this is not the optic is not provided by Rock River, but I'm just going to talk about it anyways. Now, I want to take a few minutes to talk about this sight that I chose to use on this thing for the testing. I want to put a call out to Arms Unlimited for helping me out with getting some of these Trigicon sights to review. I like to bring you guys the latest and greatest in optics. This is the MRO. This is very similar to an aim point, or it's got a red dot in the middle. You do have 6 different positions, including IR capabilities as well. You have a rather large objective on the outside, which also helps bring in more light. It's excellent. Now, the one thing I did change on this thing was the mount itself. The mount that comes on it had these tiny little Allen key type bolts on it. That's great if you're only going to be putting them on one rifle, but I test these things on multiple rifles, so that wasn't working out too well for me. I was able to get my hands on one of the brand new Arms throw lever mount mounts that has a riser on it, so I can still have my co-witness. This also is the new Mark II, which we're going to take a look at a little bit here too. Move that over a little bit. This is probably one of the neatest mounts I've ever seen. I have to say, I run into a lot of rifles. As you guys can see from my channel, I look at a lot of different rifles, and I can't tell you how many of the 1913 rails that I come across that are not within the specification. You actually can have the mounts that actually rattle because they're out. But what Arms did was, being the designer of the final dimensions of the 1913 rail, he realized, Uncle Dick or Dick Swan realized that there's too many rails out there that aren't made to specification. So obviously you can't just throw those rifles out. So he developed a micrometer on here, which allowed you to dial in to compensate, to overcompensate, or undercompensate for an out-of-spec rail. So as you can see, you have a dial on here. That dial, once you open it up, is adjustable. All you do is you take a front sight adjustment tool for an M4 or 4-position one, and you can make those adjustments and clicks until you get a nice tight fit. This mount is probably the nicest one I've ever seen. I like the throw lever mounts, especially for what I do, because I'm going from rifle to rifle. I'm testing these on multiple rifles to see how well the optics hold up and everything. So this was ideal for my situation. For somebody who's going to just put the optic on one gun, that mount that comes with it's going to be just fine. But if you're going to be putting them from gun to gun, you need to do something different with it. The pistol grip is the Ergo grip, which is one of the most comfortable grips probably that's out there. It's extremely comfortable going up your hand. It's a little bit larger, so somebody with massive Sasquatch paws like me can get a good perch on it. You also have their winter trigger guard right here for use with gloved hands, which is also available through them for purchase. Now the safety itself is very interesting. Me being a former Colt guy, if you look at the shape of this, it's got the exact same look, feel, and design as the Colt Enhanced Series rifles. The Enhanced Series rifles was a 4-position, but safe, semi-auto, and burst, and it went around the full 360. And this was the exact design that was used, and having this raised area here made it very easy to manipulate. Your fingers spun on it. Rock River decided to adopt that design, and it's a major, I think it's a pretty good enhancement. You can certainly get these as an enhancement to your own rifle as well. The lower receiver is pretty much mil-spec. It's your standard GI type. You have your standard bolt catch, your standard magazine release. The trigger itself is a Rock River Arms 2-stage trigger. It's specifically designed and manufactured by them. That's a very, very nice trigger. I'm more of a single stage trigger guy myself, but I do like this one quite a bit. And this is another one of those enhancements that you can drop into your rifle as well. The front and rear pivot pins, they do something else on them that I do like as well. I'm doing a lot of spinning here. They have little divots on here where you can use a bullet tip to be able to disengage them for disassembly of the rifle. The handguard itself is extremely nice. It's their half quad rail free float with a 3-letter rail cover. So you have 3 1913 rails, one at 3, 9, and 12 o'clock. And as you can see, I have Ergo grips on there just to give that just to protect those that don't have anything on it. And you have a continuous 1913 rail on top. I do see there's a little bit of a gap. The only thing I gotta say for this handguard is it's very, very nice. It does definitely aid in accuracy, but the way that the design is, it heats up awfully quick. You'll see from the video at the range, you'll see that I end up having to get a glove. It does a very nice job for the free float. It does what it's supposed to do. The rails are definitely within spec. I had no issues whatsoever, but it tends to heat up because the way this attaches to the barrel nut, it works as a heat sink, and this does get really hot. But if it's not too hot, it's very comfortable to hold. This is definitely one that I would be putting a vertical pistol grip on. Either that, or I'd be putting some Manta protectors on here and holding it from the front. There's a lot of these rails that do that. There's very few that really can keep the gun cool. The front sight is the Rock River Arms front sight. It's a flip. Now, it's very unique also in the fact that it has 3 sling swivels. You have one at 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. It's pretty interesting. You do have it appears to be a bayonet lug, but it is not. This has got 2 1913 rail stops on the bottom here. This will be very good for mounting a flashlight or a laser. And quite frankly, with a free-floated barrel, I'd be putting my bipod back here. I would not be putting it up here. This is a bolt-on front sight base. You do have your standard 4 position. These are also available for purchase. The barrel itself is this is a good military grade chrome plated barrel. You have a 1 9-inch twist. Now we always talk about barrel twist. Now the mil spec is a 1 7. Now for shooting 62 grain projectiles, 69 grain projectiles, I do believe that the 1 9 is probably a lot better than the 1 7. If you're going to be going with the 77 grain projectiles, I definitely would want to go with a 1 7. The barrel with a 1 9-inch twist will certainly last you longer in the long haul than a 1 7, just by its nature. So you got a good heavy barrel in the front here. It's an excellent barrel. My groups were pretty good with it. I really couldn't complain about it at all. This is a muzzle brake as opposed to a flash suppressor. Now, it does nothing for noise. I'll tell you straight up, does nothing for noise. But for as far as doing a good job on recoil and keeping the muzzle down, it does an excellent job. That's one of the trade-offs you do when you go with a muzzle brake. The muzzle brake will help you a lot with your muzzle flip and your recoil. But for as far as flash, it's a flash enhancer rather than a flash inhibitor, and it does give you a lot more noise. But this was designed to be more of an accurate rifle with a free float barrel. So certainly can see why you'd put it on there. If you were going to be using this as a self-defense rifle, this would be the first thing that would go. Because if you were to use this as a self-defense in a room or something that was enclosed, you'd first go deaf, and then you would light up the room and you lose your night vision in your eyes, and you'd be blinded by it. So I'd be going with a flash suppressor. But for range work or for any kind of hunting, I think this is definitely ideal. So we're taking a look a little bit in the inside now. You do have a standard buffer in here. This is a standard carbine buffer. Now, due to the fact this is not a fully automatic rifle, you could certainly get away with the standard buffer, the standard 3 steel weight buffer. Myself, just to enhance feeding and such, I probably would be going with an H buffer in this one myself. You're not going to find any issues, I don't really believe, but when you're using certain profile bullets, I think the H buffer might help a little bit on that. The bolt carrier group itself is a standard bolt carrier group. They sort of have their own little unique look to it. As you can see, the forward assist notches don't go all the way forward. You sort of have a unique contour. Very nice. You do have a properly staked bolt carrier group. You have a chrome-plated carrier, all things that you would want. These rifles are definitely test-fired before they come to you, so you know you're getting a quality rifle before it leaves the factory. These different types of bolt carrier groups are available as well through Rock River Arms. They also have, which I'm actually anxious to get my hands on, is one of their chrome-plated bolt carrier groups. All the pictures I've seen, they appear to be quite nice as opposed to some other ones that look like they were done in a high school machine shop with all the machining marks all over them. But you have several different bolt carrier options through Rock River Arms as well. You do have M4 feed ramps. You have all that. You have your forward assist. You have your ejection and port cover. You have all the normal things that you would expect to see on one of these rifles. I definitely, again, want to reiterate the sheer number of models which they offer. Now, this particular rifle here, say you don't want that front sight base, you can get a different front sight base on it. When you order them online, you have a drop-down menu where you can say, okay, I want this stock, I want this pistol grip, I want this handguard, I want this front sight base or this muzzle device. So they really allow you to customize for what you want. I really like that because there's too many companies out there that basically say, this is the way it's going to come, and that's it. So now once you get the rifle, you're going to have to remove that gear that you didn't want, which is a waste of money. And then you're going to have to go buy all the new stuff that you want. Then you're going to have to put it on yourself. And whether you are or not familiar with that, that could be a problem with installing these parts on the rifle. But by having that drop-down menu where you can say, okay, I want a 1 7 or I want a 1 9-inch twist barrel, you're able to customize it for exactly what you want and exactly for what your needs are as well. Rock River, you'll be seeing some more videos on these as well. The next rifle I have coming to me is one of their 308s. I've been very pleased at everything that I've seen coming out of these guys. The range experience has been really good. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to take this thing out to the range and we're going to see what she does. We're going to put some rounds through the LAR 15 Elite here. We're using the Trijicon MRO sight. The ammunition was provided by Jeff Hoffman over at Black Hills. It's 223 55 grain full metal jacket. Just like the initial LAR 47 that I tested, this one was excellent. There was no issues, no malfunctions. It was not sensitive to magazines whatsoever. The rifle probably was a little overgassed. You'll see from the video, you'll see the cartridge cases are just going, they're going forward like this. So it's probably a little on the overgassed. That might help having an H buffer in there as well, to help that a little bit with it being overgassed. Is it going to damage the rifle? No. It's just something I notice you're looking. I look at very, very fine details whenever I test fire a rifle, stuff that most people would not look at. Most people would look at a rifle and say, "Yeah, it's working, so it's fine." Well, this rifle actually it works perfectly. The only thing I noticed was it was just slightly overgassed. I think the buffer would take care of that. There was no issue with magazine compatibility whatsoever. The ammunition was mostly Black Hills 223 55 grain full metal jacket, which I always want to put a thank you out to Jeff Hoffman, because he is definitely my greatest supporter for ammunition, and he has been for, well, hell, over the last 10 years. Whether it was my writing or whether it's the YouTube channel, and I think he puts out some of the best ammunition in the world, military grade especially. I also tested some of the SIG, the new SIG ammunition, the 69 grain OTM, and everything was great. I didn't shoot a lot of long range with it because I decided I wanted to test the MRO, so most of the shooting was much closer. For anybody who's looking to get a rifle that they really want to just customize, this company is a really good one to look at. Their customer service is awesome. In fact, I know personally one of their guys over there who works there. Awesome guy. I worked with him before at another company that I worked with, and he's now with these guys, and the customer service is excellent. So I would encourage you to go take a look at their website and just see what different options that they have. This arms mount is brand new, so I'm not sure if it's available yet, but if not, it'll be there very quickly. Arms is trying to keep up with a lot of these new optics that are coming up, and the mount for the MRO was just put out this year. In January it was announced, and I'm hoping to see some more mounts for particularly the VCOG when they're ready for that one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment, and I'll see if I'll try and answer the questions if I can. Please click like, please subscribe, and even better, please share. Thank you.